Namaste, Jai Bharat. How do you look at a nation? As a person with qualities which are supposed to be attributes to, positive to persons, or as a dead entity? If nation is simply a structure, as the structuralists, especially the communist structuralists, would speak of, then the nation is not life. Where the lives of the real life of nation comes from? It's from the lives of people who pulsate within the nation. So it's something like a collective life. It's something like a thriving, pulsating collective life. Now, let's compare this concept of nation with the concept of army. See, in logic, army is a collective term. Means it doesn't refer to one individual, it refers to the unity of a group of individuals together, and they're together for given reasons. Same should be talked about nation. It's a collective term, but should have certain qualities, properties. Army has given properties. First thing is that they wear uniform, of course that's a psychological thing, and they have unity, they have uniform, they're supposed to have one mind, one thought, one etc. The oneness for whatever, on whatever basis, is what really makes army. Otherwise it's nothing, it's a collection of people, but the togetherness is what really makes them army, in whichever form. So nation, if you don't speak about nation as collective term, then of course it is something very synthetic or something very structurally put together. That's why the communists who follow structuralism in particular, Lev Strauss, when he spoke structuralism, he had a different purpose and meaning. But communists really took off with the structuralism because they used it as a tool to understand anything which they want structurally. They thought such kind of structural analysis which would fetch them more clarity theoretically, yes, but then they hardly teach to put the structures back to perceive it in a totality unity, though Marx wanted things in its totality and unity of particulars. But these neo-Marxists never went into that direction. They speak about structurally deconstructing, Derrida, deconstructing, and never trying to put it back. So once you analyze structurally and deconstruct things, you should also be educated to reconstruct and make it a synthetic unity of the former after getting your piece of understanding. So such kind of thing they try to do with nation, so they ever fail to understand the real spirit of nation concept, and their medicine is lying in Bharat. That is Maharishi Aurobindo, who speaks about nation soul, who speaks about nation soul in capital letters. He speaks about unity, he speaks about nationalism. But unfortunately, Aurobindo's language is too high. His sentences are too complicatedly long. His ideas are very complex. It can't be oversimplified beyond a point. So one has to rise up to the level of Maharishi Aurobindo to get a glimpse of what goes on in his mind and what is it trying to tell us. He speaks about nation soul. And when Aurobindo speaks about nation soul, it at once attracts many attributes of a soul. That is simple. Fecundity, fidelity, all those things, plus transparency, honesty, integrity, trustworthiness, yes. A nation, in its appropriate sense, which can claim to have a nation soul must have all these properties of soul property. They are all soul properties of soul-like situations. So, a nation that is a soul must have all these properties. And now you come to the practical level to think of how many so-called nations in the world can claim transparency, trustworthiness, truthfulness, loyalty to their own people. Make the list. I am not telling anything. Make the list. If you exceed one, then tell me. You can only put one nation's name. That's Bharat. That's Bharat, in spite of our politicians doing whatever for the last years. Last long years. Until, of course, this present government comes in from 2014. Prior to that, that was a soul of soulless condition, sigh of oppressed creature, etc., as Marx was telling. So when Sri Aurobindo speaks of nation soul, you try to see how many nations in the world can claim to have nation soul. You should find some. You should find many actually. But I am sure of only one nation, that's mine. I haven't gone into investigating how many nations can really claim nation soulness. But this I am sure Bharat can claim. Please update me when you find other such meaningful nations who can claim to have nation soul. You certainly can't put Pakistan in this category. It's impossible, that I am sure. As I am sure that Bharat has nation soul, I am also sure that Pakistan can't have any such things. Because they are minus qualities, minus properties, but filled with negative properties and qualities. So please do think about nation soul. Until we meet again, Namaste, Jai Bharat, Jai Sri Ram.